Hey everyone, and welcome to the Ball Talks. I'm so excited to kick off this series with an incredible, inspiring guest. This show is all about embracing authenticity, celebrating individuality, and having open, honest conversations about the things that make us us. Today, I am honored to be speaking with Kellie Rhymes. Kellie is the CEO of Limitless Mindset Coaching, a passionate advocate for the alopecia community, a TV producer, a podcast host, a 2025 Bald and Beautiful pageant contestant, but most importantly, she's a woman who's turned a personal challenge into a powerful force for good. Kellie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I am happy to be here. I'm ready to share what I have.
Well, I am so happy that you are here and you are my first guest on Ball Talks. So
Okay,
yay to that.
honored. Oh,
Breaking
thank
it
you.
in, you're breaking it in. Today we're going to dive into Kellie's journey with alopecia, explore how it shaped her life and inspired her work, and discover the incredible impact she's making on the world. We'll talk about her personal journey with alopecia, her limitless mindset coaching business, her advocacy in alopecia community, and what it means to truly live life on your own terms. Get ready to be inspired by Kellie's strength, her resilience, and unwavering commitment to helping others find their own limitless mindset. Let's get started. Kellie, again, thank you for joining me as my first guest on Ball Talks. Can you share with us a brief introduction to your journey with alopecia?
Okay. Well, so my journey started a long time ago. I actually started losing my hair. Well, at least I should say I started noticing my hair loss in my late 20s. So is it over 18 years ago now? And I'm sure I was losing hair before then and just didn't know it. At that time, my hair was locked. So the only reason why I actually noticed it was because my cousin was retwisting my locks and she noticed a small bald spot at the top of my head. And at that moment, we were like, okay, well, let's just pay attention to it. She was like, I just won't twist it as tight. It may just be tension. And, let's put some oils on it, trying to do the holistic route and figuring it out and grow, for it to grow back. But basically, over time, it just continued to get thinner and thinner and thinner. During that time, I was in a lot of denial around my hair and what was happening. I had a lot of different emotional things happening within myself regarding my hair loss. So it took me a long time to even go to a dermatologist because I was embarrassed to even let a doctor see, what was happening with my head. And by the time I went, I had a lot of hair, like severe hair loss at the crown of my head up at the top. And, basically the doctor, which was a dermatologist, looked at me. He didn't even do anything. Now, he was an African American, so he was just like, "Hey, I've seen this a lot, and you have scarring alopecia, and there's nothing you can really do about that. Like your hair won't really grow back." And he didn't give me any options. He didn't give
Oh,
me
really?
any solutions or like, let's try this, let's try that. He didn't do any of that. So at that time, with it being new to me, I didn't know. I just took his word for it. I just was like, okay, well, he's saying I can't do anything about it. So let me maybe try to go get some hair transplants. I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to figure something out, but
Yeah. I'm
let's
gonna have
let's
that
keep
hair.
going. Yeah, exactly. And went down that route and was told I could not get hair transplants because I have scarring alopecia. And basically, if they would have transplanted the hair to my balding spots or bald spots, the hair would have just came back out eventually. So there was no point of doing that. So then I just continued to wear wigs and I didn't really know what to do, where to go. At that time, there weren't all these support groups that you guys have now, or that we have
Yes.
now, I should say.
Yes.
There wasn't, it wasn't talked about like it's being talked about at this point in time. And that's really why I'm here, to talk more about it. But yeah, I started losing my hair, and that took some time. I mean, it really took, I don't even know how much longer before I actually adopted this look. Now, I actually cut my hair off, and this is the second time I cut it off bald. And this was in 2019. And I went ahead, made the intentional decision of cutting my hair off because I was tired of hiding it. I was tired of feeling insecure. I was tired of all of the emotions that was coming up, the anxiety every time I left the house, wondering if I felt right, or if people knew this was a wig, or if the wig looked right. It was just all of these
Yeah,
different thoughts.
if it was on straight. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And it was all around how I looked. And I got tired of that. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't want to live like this. Not at all. I've never been a person who cared, or I'm not going to say I didn't care about my looks. I did, of course, because, we all
Yeah.
do. But I've never been a person who constantly focused on how I looked. I've never been like a vain person or anything like that. I've always been that person where it's like, okay, this is my style. This is what I like. And this is what I'm going to do. I don't care what people think.
Yeah.
So for me to flip it to be like, oh, are people thinking this about me, or people thinking that about me, and having all of this run through my head, it was draining. So I went ahead, made the decision to cut my hair off the second time. And what made me feel comfortable was micropigmentation. So you can see I have a hairline. It looks like I have like a low fade cut, but that is micropigmentation. And that's what has given me, well, part of, I'm not going to say that's the only thing, but that's part of what has given me my confidence, because I felt comfortable like this. Now, other people may feel comfortable another way. They may want to continue to wear their wigs. They may want to be just bald. It does not matter, whatever that is for you. As long as you feel comfortable and confident with that, then that's what I tell people to do. So that's the gist. It's a longer story, but that's the gist of the story.
Well, I feel like, of course, it's to each their own, right?
Right.
Wigs or, micro pigmentation, which I have thought about all of it. I've thought
Mm-hmm.
about transplants, and I have I had a come to Jesus moment, or come to whomever spirituality moment, that I don't care anymore. I just want to be free. I don't care if I have any hair. I don't care if I have to get a transplant. I don't want to mask or hide it anymore. It's just me.
Yeah.
Just
And
embrace.
that's where I had to get to. It took me a long time. And I'm sure, like, we all have our journeys with hair loss. We
Yes.
all have our stories. Some things are
Yes.
going to be similar, some are going to be different. But I had to get there. I had to get to the point to where, really I was ready to start dating seriously, again. And I was at a point where I did not want to put myself out there
Yeah.
with hair, knowing that eventually they're going to see I don't have hair, and that could be a problem. So I was like, you know
Yes.
what? I'd rather present myself exactly the way I am and attract a person who is going to like me for exactly who I am and what
Yeah.
I look like, and go from there. So that was just part of the reason why I went ahead and made that decision. But there was other things as well. But yeah, that was a major thing.
Okay. So, what type of alopecia do you have, and what treatments have you tried?
So I have scarring alopecia, but the type of scarring alopecia I have is CCCA. And I'm sure everybody, especially African American women, have probably heard of that. That's the acronym for it. It's what is it? Central cicatricial, it's a central
So,
focal,
yes.
yes,
Citrus fungal.
alopecia. And
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
that
CCCA.
medical term, right? That medical term
Yes.
is hard to pronounce. But yes, I have CCCA. And treatments, no, I did not go for any treatments, because remember, when I saw that doctor, he told me there was nothing I could do. So I didn't do any treatments per se. Now, when I went to get the hair transplants, the doctor there did give me a biopsy, because he wanted to make sure that if he did the hair transplants, that it wouldn't come out. So he already had an idea in his mind that it may not work. And I, you know what, I am grateful for the doctor, even though I have my challenges with the medical industry because of this experience. I am still grateful for that doctor, because he was like, look, let me test you out. because what I don't want to do is transplant this hair and it falls out and you wasted your money. And I'm like, I appreciate that because that's not what I wanted, because that would have hurt me financially and it also would have hurt me emotionally, because now I'm thinking, okay, I've got a solution. It's good. You know, I'm going to get some hair back, and then for it to fall back out, that would have devastated me. And it's that same feeling that women get. And I've had this feeling before as well, when you test out different products or different prescriptions or whatever, and it doesn't work for you, and it works for somebody else, you know, and it's like, golly, you know, I'm pissed, or, you know, I'm hurt, I'm this, I'm that. You have all of these emotions because you want your hair back and you're trying, but these things aren't working. So I do appreciate the doctor for doing that. But no, I did not do any kind of formal treatments. Now, I did go out and try some holistic things, but none of it worked, of course, because I have scarring alopecia.
Yeah.
I didn't
No,
want to, like I said, I was in denial. It was a big thing. It was in a lot of denial.
well, we're going to get to the bottom of it. I do have several dermatologists that um, that will talk about transplants. They're going to talk about the CCCA. Can hair grow in the area, or does it grow around it? So we'll get to that. Not on this show, not on this episode, but later on. I'll have
Right.
them show. Um, so let's just move on. Can you describe the moment you decided to embrace being bald, and how that decision changed your perception?
Well, I made the decision. I was living in Arizona at that time, and it was hot. I had been wearing wigs. I went from long wigs to short wigs because I
Yes.
was hot. And it goes back to me being tired of covering it up. I was either doing wigs, I was doing hair fibers, I would do head wraps or scarves, like anything to camouflage my hair loss. I was really doing it, putting weave in my hair and kind of maneuvering how to put the weave in and crochet it in and kind of make it blend. Like I was on YouTube University looking at all of the tricks and hair things, because I didn't let anybody touch my head. Let's see, when I told you my cousin did my locks, and
Yes.
after that, I had my locks combed out. So I probably went to a beautician maybe a year after I had my locks combed out. And it was steady, my hair was steady getting thinner and thinner. I was losing it or whatever. After that, I was like, okay, let me take a break. So I stopped going to the beautician, and I, was doing some things myself. I went back to the beautician, another one, a different beautician, got a weave. That weave, it was a quick weave, took my hair out. I was trying to wash the quick weave
Yep.
out, and I must have had some type of reaction and didn't know it. Oh, it just took my hair completely out. So that was devastating. After that right there, and I think that was probably in 2000, maybe 12-ish or something like that. After that, I didn't let anybody touch my head. After that, I just did my own
With your
hair. I
own
went
hair.
on
Yes.
YouTube, and I
Yes.
was figuring it out, styling my hair, covering up the hair loss, doing all of those things. So that, let me fast forward, and I'm in Arizona, like I was telling you, wearing the wigs and doing all of these things. And I was like, I'm tired. I'm just tired of this. I'm ready to just be me. I'm ready to be authentic. I'm ready to just, walk out the house and feel comfortable. I'm ready to jump in the ocean and not worry about hair and how am I securing this wig, or I can't put my head under the water because of this. I
Yes.
didn't want it. I was done, so done. And so that was part of it. I was just ready to step into me and my new identity and show that to the world. And then the other part was, like I told you earlier, me wanting to start dating seriously and wanting to present myself as of who I am
Yeah.
authentically to whomever who was gonna be attracted to me and who I was gonna be attracted to them, That was the turning point. So at that point, when I was like, okay, I'm done, I'm tired, I'm gonna go and I'm cutting my hair off. So I went ahead and did it. I cut my hair off myself, shaved it with the razor, and then I started researching for micropigmentation. So immediately, kind of like, within weeks of me shaving and cutting it off, I went ahead and made my appointment and got the micropigmentation done.
Okay. So, given your experience, What is the most important piece of advice you would offer to women who are nearly or newly diagnosed with alopecia and are struggling with hair loss?
Well, just from my experience, I would always say that if you did not have a good experience with a dermatologist, go get another opinion.
Oh, yes.
Also, go do your own research. Now, this is something I had to learn, and I look back at it and I wish I would have done more. But times were just different then. We had the internet, but I didn't, wasn't thinking about searching for solutions for this and
Yes.
that back when I first started losing my hair. It just was a different time. And I didn't have support groups. So go make sure you join a support group. That's another thing, because in these support groups, and I'm not saying you have to join this big organization, there are plenty of Facebook groups online that you can join. You can share your story, you can ask a question, and there are women in there that have been through this, so they can give you an answer, they can help you out, they can make it easier for you. So for one, make sure you have a good dermatologist, and if you need that second opinion, go get that second opinion. Make sure you have the answers that you're looking for. Understand also that every treatment is not going to work for you. It may work for someone else, but it may not work for you. And you have to be ready for that. You have to be ready to test out things and see if it will work for you. And it may take a period of time. It may take 3 months for you to be on a medication or something that you were prescribed before you can see if there are any results. So you got to be patient in this process.
Oh,
and
yes.
and yeah, understand that, okay,
They
try
take
it out.
years. Yes.
Right. I think some other things that I've learned about trichologists. Now, a lot of people don't know
Yes.
about trichologists. I did not know until I started doing my own research.
Yep.
Go see a trichologist and see if they can help you, because they provide more holistic approaches. Now, I would say for trichologists, they will probably be better for people who may not have alopecia per se, because they can't prescribe prescriptions or things like that. But they can diagnose or can take a look and say, hey, it looks like you have this, and maybe give you some ideas of what you can do. And your hair may grow back, it may not. I think trichologists are more for people who have other types of hair loss, maybe due to hormones or stress or menopause, different things like that. Not to say they can't help people with alopecia, because they definitely can. I just think a lot of times with alopecia, there are so many different forms, because the word alopecia just means hair loss, right? There are so many different types of alopecia. Going to a dermatologist really is a good idea, so you can really figure out what form you have and the best options for that.
Yes. So we're going to move on to your incredible work. What inspired you to create Limitless Mindset Coaching?
Well, I kind of told you already.
Yes.
But let me, I'm gonna break it on down, because it's all because of my experience. It's all because of my emotional and the mental challenges I had through my own hair loss journey. That is the reason why I started Limitless Mindset Coaching, because I felt like I was gonna be, I know, I felt like I was ugly. I'm not gonna say gonna be. I felt like I was ugly without hair. I felt like I looked like a man. My self-esteem was so low. Now, I didn't necessarily show it to people like that, but if
But
people
you knew
knew
it.
me, right, and if people really knew me and saw how I interacted, like even with other people, you can definitely tell, like I was very withdrawn from social situations. When it came to even meeting a partner or anything, I would never approach anybody. And, like it was always, I always took a step back. I was always in the background and never wanted to be seen really. So that made me realize that I'm not the only person that went through this. Like, and there are millions of women out there with hair loss. And I'm pretty sure they're feeling these different emotions as well. Whether like some women experience depression, some women experience all kinds of different things. So I created Limitless Mindset Coaching to help women get through that emotional and mental part and those challenges that you have when you're losing your hair, because it's hard. It's very hard, because society tells us that hair makes you beautiful. And without it, then, hey, you're just thrown to the wayside or something like that. So I have to work with women because I had to do it myself to build their confidence up, to eliminate all of those negative thoughts around hair loss and not having hair. Because some women, don't choose to shave their hair off. Some women do. But if you choose to shave your hair off, you got to know that people are going to stare at you or people are going to
Yeah.
look at you. Are you ready for that attention? Or are you ready? Are you okay with blocking it out? Are you ready to embrace that? Are you ready to smile when somebody's looking at you and look at it like, oh, they think I'm beautiful versus, oh, they think I'm ugly? Because before I prepared myself and worked on myself, that's exactly what I thought. Oh, they think I'm ugly. But now I'm like, oh, okay, hey, how you doing? Because I feel like I'm beautiful and I feel like they think I'm beautiful too. And that confidence comes out because people will walk up to me and tell me, you're beautiful, yada, yada, yada.
Yes.
You will be amazed. But it goes back to that mindset. So, limitless mindset coaching is working on your mindset, shifting from that identity of having hair to no hair if you have to, cut your hair off and be bald, or just shifting that identity of hair loss. Okay, now how do we move forward? How do we make you comfortable in this world so that you can continue to do the work you're supposed to do on this earth? Okay, now remember earlier I talked about, hey, you may want to continue to wear a wig or hair wraps or whatever you choose to do to make you comfortable. All right, if that's what you want to do, let me help you get a quality wig.
Yeah.
Let me help you get something that you're comfortable in, you're good with, that you walk out that door and you have your head up high. If you want to shave it off, okay. Well, we talked about a little bit before we started razors. Okay, let's get you a good shaver. How do you maintain your scalp? How do you do these different things to prevent hair bumps? I'm gonna help you through that. So I help walk women through this whole process of transitioning with the hair loss and helping them with the decision they choose to make, shifting their mindset and dealing with those emotions that come along with it.
Okay. So, what specific types of coaching services? Is it just, um, what type is it? Just in general? Like, is it just getting people prepared for, oh, you have hair loss, or do you go into different types of coaching, or is it just that?
So basically, it's really called transformational coaching. My focus is on people who have hair or women who have hair loss. That's my focus, right? So basically my title is I'm a women's hair loss support and authenticity coach because I'm supporting you through your hair loss and I'm making sure you're living your authentic life. You're coming out and showing exactly who you are. You're comfortable in your own skin and you step into this world with confidence. So really that's what it is. It's taking a woman from feeling that insecurity to I'm here to conquer the world with this confidence. So if you want to label it anything, you can call it transformational coaching.
The reason I asked you that is because, as you know, you're a member of my Facebook page, group page. Um, I have had, I think, one guy that actually wanted to join. Even though I try to build up women,
Mhm.
I felt like he needed to come in. He needed to come in the group. Now, he doesn't say anything. He'll inbox me here and there and, talk about his struggles, which is fine.
Mhm.
You have an issue with bringing men in if they wanted to come in?
I don't have an issue with bringing men in. I can only just speak to the women's experience or a woman's experience because I'm a woman. That's just it. I can't relate to how a man feels. And I do know also that yes, it will affect a man's self-esteem or affect them emotionally as well. But it is more acceptable in society for men to be bald than it is for women.
Yes.
So even if a man shaves their head, yeah, it may be comfortable in the beginning because they have to get used to it, and everybody they
Yes.
know may have to get used to it. But men with no hair can be sexy, what I mean? Like
Yes.
that could be considered all of that. That's normal at this point. Women is not considered normal, even though I'm seeing
Unless
it
you're
more
Grace
and more.
Jones.
Exactly, but Grace Jones was back in the 80s,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you didn't see any bald women walking around in your everyday life. You didn't. You did not. So it's like it's just that stigma of women with no hair. That's what we're trying to break. That's what I want to make sure that we redefine what beauty looks like because we are still beautiful.
True. So you're involved with Scarring Alopecia Foundation,
Mhm.
CCCA support group leader. How does the advocacy work complement your coaching business?
Well, you know what? It helps me stay on top of what women are really thinking. Even though, yes, I may coach women, but these are women who are dealing with this and still struggling with this on a regular basis. And it kind of just keeps me in touch with also what doctors are prescribing now or what they're saying now, because they'll come on and ask a question about, let's just say, metformin. So I don't know if you guys know, but if you have CCCA, dermatologists are starting to prescribe or have started to prescribe metformin, a low dosage of it, to help regrow hair. Now, I didn't know any of that until had a support group, and it helps me learn as well as support them. So I had no clue about that. Metformin is a diabetes drug. So
Yep,
when someone told me that, I'm like, what? They're like, okay, so this is something I need to look into. So really, as far as the compliment, I don't know if I think it's just another thing I do. I don't know if it's so much of a compliment. Yes, it helps me learn more or it helps me with
yes,
my support for women, but it's just another thing I do to help the women. That's just really what it is. And then even in that support group, there's men and women in the support group. So it's not just women. I just feel like, hey, I'm a person who doesn't mind talking about my experience, helping other people who are going through the same thing. And not everybody's interested in doing that. So when they said they needed a leader for the group, I'm like, okay, cool, fine. I jumped right on in and that's what I do. I'm one of the leaders.
that's right. So you're the host of Bougie Baldy podcast
Mhm.
and a TV producer on the Bougie Baldy show. What is the message and goal behind the podcast and the show?
Okay, so the podcast, let me just say this first. I'm still working on the show. I'm still producing the show, but the concept excuse me, let me repeat that or let me rewind that back. The concept of both of them are really to educate women, really is to show that you have options. These are some of your options. Here's the information. Here are specialists, who are in these fields who can talk to you about it. It's really about that education part and representation because now you can see another bald woman, excuse me, either on YouTube or TV, whatever. You see me. I'm in your face. If you're, and you're interested in watching, hey, I'm here and I'm here to say you could do it too if you choose to do it. So really that's the concept about it. Really, really educating women and making sure it's entertaining because that's
Yes.
important. But the education part and informing them is a key point.
Okay. So you are a 2025 Bald and Beautiful contestant.
Mhm.
What are you most looking forward to as a contestant?
I am most looking forward to really the fellowship with the other contestants, honestly, because I don't have any friends that don't have hair. So
Yeah.
just to be in community in real life, not online, with other women who are confident, who are out here, who are saying, yes, we're beautiful and representing, because again, we're all representatives of this, right? So representing is a key thing. I think that is really what motivated me. I'm not worried about winning at all. I'm just like, let's go, let's have
Because
fun, let's be in
we're all
community, and
winners,
let's
really.
show exactly, and let's show that we here. And we're not going anywhere. And you're probably going to see more of us because as we show ourselves to the world, more and more women are going to get comfortable and start showing themselves and being comfortable in their skin.
So, what does living life on your own terms mean to you? And how do you help your clients achieve that?
Living life on your own terms means really embracing the life you want to live. Okay. So if you are a person who loves hiking and you don't want to go to work from 9 to 5, you want to work remotely and go hike in the afternoons, that's the life you want to live. That's living on your own terms. If you are a woman who wants to wear beautiful hair wraps and matching with your outfits and have your cute jewelry on, your makeup, that's living on your own terms. You define what you want your life to look like and what you want to do. And that's all it really is. I have an acronym. I say it's called, the acronym is LIFE, LIFE, or you could say LIFFE, and it's live life in freedom every day. And that's what I aspire to do. That's what I motivate other women and people, not just women, other people to do. Live life on your own terms. You get one life in this body. You need to get out there and enjoy life. And I know what's put out here to us. You got to do this, you got to buy this, you got to have this. No, you may not want that. You may be happy in your little house without a car, but you get to go hiking every day, or you get to go travel every week or every month, and that makes you happy. That's living life on your own terms, and it's a part of creating your own life.
Yeah, I agree with you. I tell people all the time, I'm just simple. I don't need all that extra stuff. I just want to live, go live on a beach, mind my
Yes.
business, shave
Mm-hmm.
my head in the morning,
Mm-hmm. And go jump in that ocean with
and
this bald
jumping
head.
in.
Because if you
Oh,
haven't
oh,
done that yet, I'm gonna need everybody to do that. Okay?
I
It's a
cannot
beautiful
wait.
experience.
I cannot wait. I told my friends that I'm buying new bathing suits, and I'm gonna go out there, and I'm not gonna worry about anything.
Yes. Yes. You don't have to worry about washing hair afterwards, detangling a
No,
wig, doing this and no, no. Hop in that shower,
that's
wash
it.
yourself on up, and you're ready. You're ready to go.
Yo. So, what is the one thing you've learned about yourself through the journey that you never expected? As far as have you learned? Well, you did say that you learned a lot of medical and holistic parts of this, but are you learning more so of all of the different alopecia um, diagnosis, or is it just you're learning about the ones that you have?
Well, okay. So I'm not necessarily learning about every single one of them because I'm not trying to be a specialist, like a dermatologist or trichos. I'm not really trying to do that. I educate myself enough to be able to talk on the topic or to help someone else. Realistically, whenever I'm helping women, I don't have to get into medical terms too much because I'm not here to diagnose you or treat you or prescribe anything to you. I'm here for that mental part. So I just need to have that basic understanding of maybe what you have or what's going on with you, but I'm dealing with the other part. So I like to just do research just for my own purposes, just so I,
Yes,
I learn. And if I'm sharing something like on my podcast or anything like that, like I want to know what I'm talking about. So I'll have to do some research a lot of
yes,
times so
yes.
that I'm giving you accurate information, really. So yeah, I'm not trying to be a jack of all trades. That's not my lane at all.
Well, the reason I asked you that because I'm on my group, I do want to kind of know which alopecia that person has, and I want to, be able to learn with them, you know,
Mhm.
teach them what I've learned and or we learn together, that's why I asked you that. So, what are your future goals for limitless mindset coaching and
Mhm.
your work in the alopecia community?
Okay, well, future goals, as I mentioned, the TV show is coming sometime this year, later this year. We're going to say later this year. But that's in the works, so that's coming up. And I'm going to eventually do a retreat or something like that. Don't know what that looks like as of yet, but I would love to do a retreat for women with hair loss to just come and relax and just be. You can take your wig off if you want to. We're not worried about it. We know. I want that type of environment where we have a private location where we could just be free. And for those women who aren't quite ready or who are struggling, okay, let them come relax and be around other women who aren't maybe struggling and could help uplift them in some type of way. So that's something I would love to do as well. But otherwise, I'll be speaking at the Scarring Alopecia Foundation conference in Nashville. That's happening
Okay.
in April. So doing that. And I'm hoping for more speaking engagements to, make women aware of hair loss, motivate them, and continue to move forward. So got that going. I got the pageant going. What else is up? And then I have my apparel. I have my shirt on today, so I have
Oh,
my
I
bougie
love it.
body apparel that I'm selling as well.
Well, you're gonna have to send me the link so I can get.
Okay, I will do that.
So, where can people find you online?
Okay, well, you can always visit my website, and that's limitlessmindsetcoach.com. And you can find everything there as far as how to contact me if you want to book a consultation call, if you want to check out my podcast, the links are there, social media, all of those links and things like that will be on my website. But I am also on YouTube, The Bougie Baldy on YouTube, and that's where my podcast is. And you can find me on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram under either Miss Kellie Michelle. That's probably the best way to find me. Search for Miss Kellie Michelle. And I think I might be Bougie Body on one platform, but if you look for
You
Miss
are.
Kellie Michelle, yeah, you'll find me.
Okay.